Imagine you and I are sitting down with a new client and we want to say something. We want to ask some question that lets us know exactly what their life looks like. Do you know a great question that you can ask? That question is, hey, how do you go about managing stress? The answer to that question can paint a very clear picture about what someone's day includes, or more than likely, what someone's day does not include. And what we want to get from that question is, what is this person doing on a daily basis to remain grounded? What is this person doing on a daily basis to combat some of the mundane or painful tasks that's included in being a human being? Now, some might refer to the meditation practice that they've held for 20 years or the daily walks that they take with their mother, but for most of us, we don't have a great answer. In this recording, I'm going to teach you how to go from being a time peasant to a time bandit. I'm going to teach you how to not get pummeled by the waves of stress, but to surf those waves. Are you ready? Let's begin. Now, if this is somebody that you're working with, or if this is you yourself, I believe there's 4 steps that you want to take. Step number 1 is you have to get internal. Step number 1, you have to ask the question, what do you believe that you can do about this? There's lots of people that as you ask this question, they will lead you to believe that they don't think they can do anything about it, that they're literally a peasant in terms of time, that they are a slave to the schedule that they have, and they're a martyr for the great cause of the work that they do or their act as a parent. If that is where someone's at, you want to meet them exactly at that place. You want to gently and slowly start to ask more and more questions that could potentially poke some holes in the reality that they feel like they find themselves in. For others, they're going to wholeheartedly agree with you. They're going to say, you're absolutely right. I know this is something that I should be better about. I just don't know exactly what I should do. Each of those places are significantly different points on this journey towards action. And I want to just reiterate that if you are in a position as a coach, your job isn't to jumpstart someone to action. It's to make sure that they are leading that and you're just along the ride, shining some light on the journey. Now, once you figure out where somebody is, you can figure out how to start to steal some time for them. If they're ready for action, then you want to create some awareness around how they might be spending their time. Now, we have calendars and we have appointment books, but there is something that you can use that's incredibly effective at making sure that both of you are on the same page of how they're really spending time. You take their cell phone, and with permission, you ask to go into the settings and to look at the usage. There's lots of ways that you can do this, but you can go in and by category, see how much time is being spent across 2 key areas, social and entertainment. If I'm a betting man, I would bet money that you can go into this settings and find 20 minutes a day that they can allocate to something that's more enjoyable or more meaningful than scrolling on one of those 2 applications. Now, if you're at this step, be gentle here. This is someone opening their kimono. This is someone revealing how they're spending time where they don't think anyone is watching. You don't need to be sympathetic, but you might be empathetic and let them know that you too are on social media. You too haven't eliminated those completely. And all we're trying to do is steal 20 minutes of the 2 to 4 to 6 hours that they may be spending on these things throughout the day. Now, number 3, with this brand spanking new 20 minutes, we want to find better uses for it. There's research that supports that this can be in one of 3 categories, or for most of us, we find it in one of these 3 categories. 1, it's talking. The research is pretty buttoned up that something that involves a social connection is really good at closing the loop on what we would consider stress. This could be talking with somebody. This could be journaling. That is, you're talking with your hands. This could be singing. Words are coming out of your mouth, or words are more accurately coming out of your brain in some form or fashion. This can be movement. Now, obviously, working out is an option, but let's say that we've already spent our time doing something that has intensity attached to it. A stroll is a great option. This could simply be sitting outside and eating your lunch. Moving your jaw is also considered movement. Lastly, this could be doing something relaxing. Now, as we've already covered, relaxing doesn't mean mindless. Relaxing could be something that feels really enriching and enjoyable to you. That could be listening to a Van Morrison record at home. That could be sitting in your favorite room with your favorite painting in complete stillness. That could be a session in the sauna. Sky's the limit as long as it's either really enriching or meaningful to you. The last step is to begin. It's to trial and error. It's to go into some experimentation. And what we found is the best way to do this is to pencil it in, to schedule it, to create a ritual. That means it's the same thing at the same time every single day with enough exposure to this new activity to see if it actually results in improvement. Improvement in what? We'll get there at the very end. Now, if we are actually stealing time from our phone, it makes sense that we would do this new activity at one of those times that we would be on our phone. If that is the choice that you make, you'll want to make sure, and this sounds kind of obvious, but it needs to be said, that your phone isn't within arm's reach. If your unconscious way of decompressing is to do this, you'll probably want to make sure that this isn't available to you, or you'll just revert back to that. This could also be batching it with something that you're already doing. We can take something that is already mundane and we can church it up with something that we really enjoy or something that we find really meaningful. This could be throwing on the record while you're making dinner. This could be calling your mom or your friend Marjorie while you're on your commute home. This could be penciling in 20 minutes for a standalone activity that has no association, no batching with anything that you're already doing. As a personal example, I love learning, and this took me a long time to back into this because I didn't realize that you could check multiple boxes all at the same time. Years ago, we bought a piano for $100. This thing was the heaviest thing I've ever moved in my entire life, and for a long time I was resentful that piece of furniture, more or less, was now in our house, until I realized that I could talk, move, and do something enriching all at the same time. So at 5 p.m. every day, I sit down for 20 minutes and I sing, which is a form of talking. It doesn't have to be good singing, but it is words coming out of my mouth. I move just my fingers, and I'm relaxing because I'm learning how to do a new skill. As I'm participating in this 20 minutes every day, there is a tangential thought that's going through my brain. I know that there's things that happen throughout the day that cause me to rise to the occasion. There's a part in the deep recesses of our brain called the amygdala. It's responsible for emotion. It's also connected to this stress response that we're needed for difficult or really boring tasks throughout the day. As I'm participating in this 20 minutes, I'm picturing this amygdala, which has been hijacked, which has been activated, to slowly release. To think of it as a muscle that's getting more and more relaxed. And by the end of the 20 minutes, I've visualized more or less that this thing no longer has control over me and the stress that I need to deal with throughout my day. And I hope that you'll do the same. Whatever you create, whatever you try, you'll know you're on the right track, that when you finish, you feel more like yourself. I know that's a subjective statement, but you'll feel less anxious. You'll feel like you can make better decisions. You'll feel more patient with whatever's happening after that 20-minute session. And the best yet, as you participate in this experiment, in this ritual day after day, you'll never use the excuse again that you don't have enough time. There's a great quote that says you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. This has been a monumental statement about incremental change, brought to you by the good people at BPR.
Subscribe!